I had a good friend who somebody convinced him to go do Samyama. His life kind of took a turn for the worse. He just got angry about the whole thing. He's no longer involved with Isha. He won't talk with anybody at Isha. And Shambhavi worked wonders for you. It's been beautiful for you. Like, stay there for a while. There's times where you recognize that you as you know it or die.
I was wondering, were you ever scared or hesitant when it comes to immersing yourself into spirituality because of hearing these stories? People are falling ill, getting certain diseases. Recently, I have gone through a phase in my life which has not all been sunshine and rainbows, but rather a lot of pain. And at the same time, I had people reach out to me saying that they are scared of immersing themselves into spiritual practices because they feared, Sadhguru say, when you churn up, and I'm quoting him here, I've written down this quote, when you churn up your inner life, certain dimensions of your karma come to the fore. At such junctures, it is possible to experience intense pain or discomfort. Of course, this could mean that you have contracted some ailment, but frequently this is just your past karma surfacing and manifesting itself in one way or another. What would you say to somebody who is scared of immersing themselves because they might fear that they will lose all connections to the family, they might fall ill?
It's good to approach it with a little bit of fear wouldn't be the right word, a little bit of just caution, like understanding fully what you get into, because he talks about that. Like, you do Shambhavi. Shambhavi's done well. It's doing well for you. Great. You do BSP. BSP is doing well for you. It's a whole different thing when you start stepping into, say, Samyama and those sorts of things. And you can see it. Like, you can see it. People think that, oh, I did BSP and had a big experience. Samyama is going to be an even bigger experience. But it's a different thing. Like, for me, there's a difference between, I want to make my life a little better. I want to experience a couple things. If that's what you want, great. Do Shambhavi, do some hatha practices, do BSP, and just stay there. Like, I had a good friend who basically, he told me, he's like, I have no interest in enlightenment. I have no interest in, these sorts of things. But somebody convinced him to go do Samyama. And his life kind of took a turn for the worse. He just got angry about the whole thing. He's no longer involved with Isha. He won't talk with anybody at Isha. And for me, like, the person that told him to do that, I told him afterwards, I was like, because he didn't tell me, he told me this afterwards. And I said, why did Shambhavi worked wonders for you? It's been beautiful for you. Like, stay there for a while. You're in such a place. He was going to the hospital. They told him to wrap his affairs up. He was in such a place that if you have no real questions, if you don't have that thing that's burning within you that says, this life, what the hell is it? Right? Like, it doesn't let you sit still. Why open that door? Maybe it'll come eventually. But if you don't have that question that needs to be answered, the struggle is, to me, you can't justify the struggle. Because it is struggle, right? It is, if you are going towards the destructive element of spirituality. And what I mean by that is, and this is all my framing of it, so I don't present what I think of as any underlying truth. It's just how I look at it. But so Shambhavi takes my life, you're a little better, you're a little happier, you're a little calmer, you're more at peace. It's constructive, right? It's adding things to your life. But if you're really trying to destroy the limited aspect of who you are, to touch something deeper, to know something more about life, that death isn't metaphorical. Like, there's times where you feel like you're dying. There's times where you recognize that you as you know it are dying, right? You as you know it are threatened. And so I think the fear is a rational response, but I also think that some people tend to play up certain things. Look at me, I'm spiritual. look at me, it's this, look at me, things are falling apart. Whereas that's not really what it should be. Like, you should never, in my opinion, it should never be, I'm struggling, I'm going to take this out on you. It should be, I'm struggling. If I'm in a relationship, I'm going to look at you and say, listen, I'm going through a really hard time right now. This isn't on you, but I'm going to let you know that I'm going through all this right now. And so you're being open and honest. If that relationship is important to you, if the things are important to you, if the business is important to you, you do what you can. If you're somebody who can just say, forget the business, forget the wife, forget all those sorts of things, I can go live in a cave and beg for food, freaking great. That's amazing. I bow down to you. I'm not there. You know what I mean? Like, if you're okay with everything falling apart. So you have to learn how to manage it. And everybody's like, I want it to happen fast. Well, be careful what you ask for. It can be brutal. And you think you're going to go in these times of silence. Like, I went and did 40 days in silence, and I asked Sadhguru a question, and his response was, come do 40 days in silence. So be careful what you ask him. I went and I did 40 days in silence in 2022. I got home. Actually, I got out of silence, and I was like, oh, you know, it was this kind of intense, but it was kind of beautiful. And then my brother calls me and he has cancer. A week later, I get a call from a friend, and a mutual friend had killed himself. I go home, and within a week of coming home, certain family situations really hit the fan, like exploded. Then another friend commits suicide. And then I'm at the pool, and this guy that I've known for 7 or 8 years has a cardiac arrest, and I do CPR on him for 45 minutes before the ambulances come. They never revive him. And during this whole thing, I'm just kind of looking around like, what else? Right? Like, what else is going to happen? And I don't have the sense to look at it and say, that's my karma that this thing happened to those other people. I don't know. I just know I came home and went through a very, very difficult time, and it continued into the next year. Actually, at III, I was renting a room in a house from somebody who I've known for 15 years, and she and her husband are getting a divorce. I drop her off to go to India. I was up there on the weekends, and her husband decides he wants to put the house on Airbnb. It's a friend, so I don't have a contract. He's like, you need to get out. I was like, I already paid for this month. And he calls the cops and has me forcibly evicted from this house. And this is somebody who I've known for a long time, and he's sitting there yelling and cussing at me over the cops and doing this sort of stuff because he's struggling with some things. Like, he's going through his own issues, he's going through his own stuff. But you just, like, these things happen one after another. All these struggles around hatha yoga, teacher training, even getting into teacher training. I told people, I was like, I attract chaos. They laughed at me. And then they saw it. Like, you can ask some of the people. You just had these nutso situations happen where people would like that, and they laugh about it. If you are saying, yes, I want to accelerate things, if you're saying, yes, I want to do things, one thing is you need to really spend some time with your mind and your body for stability. Like, you really need to spend some time to get to where you're able to manage what's happening. And then you need to realize that, like, if I'm going 40 and I hit a speed bump, or if I'm going 20 kilometers per hour and I hit a speed bump, that's one thing. If I'm going 90, that speed bump's gonna, like, break the axle in the car. So I wouldn't have it any other way. If somebody told me what I was gonna go through, would I still do a nadi? Yes. Would I still be on the path that I had? Yes. But I don't have a wife. I think you approach it with some caution, but you also realize that when you come to certain truths about life, when you come to certain understandings that, I mean, so these are kind of paraphrasing what he says, but they're truth. Like, what you have will never be enough. Who you are will never be enough, right? Like, if you're looking at, I get this qualification, or I've done this, or I've done that, like, it's still not enough. I think you approach it with some caution, but you also realize that when you come to certain truths about life, when you come to certain understandings that, I mean, so these are kind of paraphrasing what he says, but they're truth. Like, what you have will never be enough. Who you are will never be enough, right? Like, if you're looking at, I get this qualification, or I've done this, or I've done that, like, it's still not enough. And at some point you have to say, I'm just running the same loop. I'm just doing the same thing. Like, it's desire work towards the desire, desire is culminated. Desire, work towards the desire, desire is culminated. So then you have the question, well, what exactly is going on here? And if that question is there, it's not a question that you can put to the side. It's not a question that you can step and say, oh, well, you know, I can just go get my med school degree, or I can do this, or I can do that, or get a nice car. It eats at you. And I think that's the point where you say, the pain is worth it because I need to know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that there is a judgment that people have over that pain. They want it to be always blissful, always joyful, always beautiful, and they fear it to not be like that. So that's why people fear to immerse themselves into spirituality, because they are scared of pain. But the pain is actually, first of all, it's part of the human experience. Secondly, pain also leads to discomfort, which is a great place for growth. Because if you're always comfortable, always in a joyful, blissful state, then I feel growth is not as much. I feel that in pain, in discomfort, in difficult situations that life throws at you, the opportunity for growth is very, very big.
I
Yeah.
think that's an unfortunate truth, is that in joy, most people aren't going to look at it and say, what is this? In happiness and bliss, most people aren't going to look around and question this. It takes to where your joy falls apart. It takes to where you're kind of disillusioned and you say, okay, well, I thought this was it and it's not it. So what is it? And to paraphrase Sadhguru, he's like, that's at the point where, you know, the beginning of the Yoga Sutras, you've tried everything else and now yoga.
So, if you have reached this point, that nothing really fulfills you, everything has its pleasures, has its joys, has its… it does things to you, but it doesn't fulfill you. And now yoga.